went into multiple addresses, picked up thousands of hours of surveillance, and the only people that were on it were these couple people.
I would see, all manner of domestic violence, and it's a very difficult crime for everyone involved.
And so I take this pill, and about 30 minutes in, man, maybe about an hour, I'd say about an hour in, I start feeling real jittery and shaky. And
Cassie has just made a huge demand from Diddy for everything he put her through and all that she had to reveal during court. And it has Diddy really, really worried.
Cassie prompted this investigation by the Southern District, and now Sean Combs stands before the court as a convicted felon of 2 federal crimes. He faces significant incarceration. Not the exact outcome that we wanted, but we are grateful to the jury for finding a guilty verdict on those 2 federal crimes. No amount of money is going to ever undo what she had to endure and what she had to go through. So I think both she and I didn't really take well to that as her being a winner. And frankly, the fact of the matter is that when she testified, she had already been paid the $30 million. So she had no vested interest in anything other than telling the truth on that witness stand.
It's all coming to a head because of Cassie. Diddy is asking the judge to either throw out his conviction or give him a brand new trial. And he's doing it before he's even been sentenced. In a 62-page legal document filed Wednesday night, Diddy's lawyers say the federal government treated him unfairly and claim his conviction is not just wrong, but also unconstitutional and unlike anything seen before. What's obvious now is that there are some really horrifying consequences of this verdict, particularly for the victims of Diddy.
The jury has given their verdict, but this case is far from over. Grab your snacks as we talk about how much time is he getting in the clanker. At this point, we all know that Diddy was convicted on 2 counts of transportation of ladies and gentlemen of the night. This crime holds a maximum sentence of 10 years. There's no minimum, but he was found guilty on 2 counts. So in a perfect world with simple math, he's facing up to 20 years in prison. It's just not that simple. Our judicial system calls themselves trying to be fair. So there's a grid or like a chart where guidelines based upon your criminal history. They don't think it's fair that if this is your first conviction that you should potentially face the same amount of time as if this is someone's 3rd or 4th. Here's a chart. Actually, here's the chart right here. So this is the U.S. Sentencing Commission table, and this is Diddy's first conviction, believe it or not. So he will definitely fall right here in this first column. So in this very first section where you see offense level, you see zone A, B, C, and D, well, the prosecutors are going to try to get to the highest zone that they can.
During the trial, prosecutors claimed Diddy was in charge of a group of close, including singer Cassie Ventura and another woman referred to as Jane, into being part of inappropriate parties that involved drug and adult entertainers. These events were called freak-offs or hotel nights. Here is an adult entertainer talking about his experience with Diddy and his freak-offs.
When was the first time Cassie and Diddy gave you drugs?
Yeah, bro, crack is whack, bro. Like, I definitely crackhead that you will ever see in your life. I can't do no kind of drug. Because I can't remember if it was Cassie or him that initially asked me if I wanted to try it. I believe it was her. She asked me if I ever tried it before, but they was both standing there together. And I was like, no. And I think he was like, yo, you want to try it? It's going to make you feel real nice. You're going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel like, like partying. And so I was like, man, I don't fuck with drugs like that, but I mean, I guess whatever. So I tried it. I mean, at this point, I've been with them for long enough. They're not identity no more. I'm shooting this shit with Cassie all the time now. Like, every time that we're together, we talking for hours and shit. So I feel a level of trust. Pill. And about 30 minutes in, man, maybe about an hour, I'd say about an hour in, I start feeling real jittery and shaky and real chattery. I start talking a lot. And so I guess I annoyed him. And he was like, yo, I think you need a break. So he was like, yo, I'm going to pay you a little something. Go, get something to eat or whatever. And we're going to hit you back when you feeling a little bit less like chatty. And so I left out the joint. She lived like by the BMW building on 59th Street in like a 10th, 11th Avenue, West End Avenue.
It was West End.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened, bro. Like it literally felt like 3 minutes later, my ass was in Times Square.
I told you about my situation. I was throwing up on the bathroom floor. I was messed up. They put me out of the hotel and sent me out into the street to go home. Dude, I'm throwing up all over the floor and I'm delirious. That's why that situation happened. Why I ended up walking from the Trump and Columbus Circle all the way down to Union Square. Because he put me out there with no regard for what was going to happen to me once I left that hotel. And now that I know what was going on, see how little they actually regarded us as human beings. They just looked at us as people that they could use whenever they wanted.
Diddy's lawyers have now fired back, saying events were fully agreed to by all adults involved and were just part of a shared lifestyle. They also claim that the women were only speaking out now to try to get money from Diddy. He has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. In the new filing, Diddy's team argues that no one else in America has been convicted under the Mann Act in a case like his. They say that if the government had only charged him with the 2 transportation-related crimes, the trial would have gone very differently, and there would have been far less talk about violence. Diddy's lead attorney had a fascinating interview about this lately.
What about the other component that we know the judge is very concerned about, and that is your client's propensity for violence? Even you yourself acknowledged the case with what happened to Cassie on the video that the world saw, and in the instances with Jane. How can you reconcile your position now, motion for bail, that he should be free and is not a danger to the public when we know these instances happened in the past?
So I think the key thing with what you said is that it happened in the past. I mean, the only instance that we have in recent memory was one, and the trial evidence showed this, where Jane essentially started a fight with Mr. Combs, smashed his head against the counter, threw glasses at him. Jealousy was always a feature of their relationship, and Jane was jealous of his relationship with another woman, and so that happened. But other than that, everything dates back, a number of years, 2018 and before. And as we made the point we made in the bail application as well is, Mr. Combs is seeking counseling for domestic violence before he was arrested. He was attending a program in New York, and we really wish that he could have stayed in that program, but the federal government arrested him, and then he was in jail, and he couldn't continue with this very outstanding program, which I believe he'll come back to. And that's really, I started my career in the Manhattan DA's office, and I would see, all manner of domestic violence, and it's a very difficult crime for everyone involved. It's difficult, obviously, for the victim, who has to live in fear from one of the people in her lives that she's the closest to or he's the closest to. But what I saw in the DA's office is that these were not resulting in lengthy prison sentences. These were resulting in appropriate, treatment programs, self-awareness, therapy, things like that. And I think this is what Mr. Combs needs rather than an extended time in prison.
This conviction stands alone, but it should not stand at all, wrote Diddy's lawyer, Alexander Shapiro. The defense also says the government has been trying to paint Diddy as a villain since the start. For months, prosecutors accused him of running a 20-year criminal ring and hurting multiple women, the filing says. But after a 2-month trial, the jury rejected those claims. Now, Diddy has only been convicted of the 2 lesser charges. And those charges, according to the filing, don't even require proof that anyone was forced, threatened, or tricked. But that begs the question, if Diddy walks free, how is the government planning on keeping him in check?
And that he'd be allowed to live in his home in Miami. I should say it's a mansion, it's really a mansion. His travel would be limited. It'd be limited to Florida.
raids because they should have been able to make the case stick with everything that we know that they found during those raids. Enough evidence. Funny how none of it made it to court.
During the trial, both women testified they felt pressured to go along with what Diddy wanted. Cassie Ventura said she didn't want to be involved in those parties, but was afraid to say no because he controlled her career and money. She also told the court that he had been violent toward her, and the jury saw surveillance video from 2016 showing Diddy being physically aggressive with her, a video first released by CNN in May 2024. Still, the jury did not convict him of trafficking either woman.
Allegedly, his attorney told the world basically, like, yes, Diddy is a swinger. He can't just go out into a swinging party. He may hire people to come into his world to do those swingish things.
A swingers party with as many different people as he had at those parties. And understand this, these sessions that he's talking about swinging, there were multiple men. It wasn't just one-on-one action. And I don't know why they're all lying about it. Like, they're all lying through their caps. And anybody who doesn't want to see that, well, then that's just on them. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If he really wanted to sue Cassie because he was upset about a baby deletion and all the diseases that she gave him and all of the terrible things that she did to him, why did he have to wait for her to sue Diddy?
Well, I think he waited for the testimony. Cassie opened that door.
No. If he was so, he said he had always intended to go after her. He had planned on coming after her, and it was Tyrone Blackburn that stopped him.
I mean, $30 million changes a lot.
You got VD and all of that, but you had to wait for her to get some money in order for you to control. That doesn't make any sense, especially when you're a money-grubbing little hoe like him. And there's a money-grubbing little hoe. He's enjoying his press tour, talking about how he might not be the best-looking, but he's the best in bed. How would she know as high as she was?
He said they had an 8-year run, like 8 years.
Yeah, and in those 8 years, he didn't mind getting burned and coming back.
According to Diddy's legal team, that proves the jury didn't believe the women were victims of trafficking or abuse. They also say it's rare for someone to be convicted under the Mann Act when they didn't make money from the activity, weren't directly involved, and didn't plan it with the goal of hurting anyone or breaking any major laws. The filing says Diddy is now in jail because he paid adult entertainers who agreed to be part of private videos with his girlfriends, and that those videos were later watched together. His lawyer argued that this isn't illegal, and if it is, then the law itself is unconstitutional. They also say that the videos, parts of which were shown during the trial, weren't proof of anything wrong. Instead, they were personal, creative content and protected under free speech laws. Jaguar Wright, though, believes that there's something fishy about the evidence that was allowed to go to trial.
The second that she dropped her lawsuit, he kicked out 20 million in 24 hours. Why would you do that if you did nothing wrong? Why? You were doing it out of the kindness of your heart? But why? Why? Just like Mr. Clayton Bigsby. Because that's what he looks like, the crackhead.
Oh.
That Dave Chappelle used to play on the show, the Clayton Bigsby. He looks just like that to me.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't care how magnificent you say your people. I couldn't make it past the look of your face, sir. Cassie would have needed to be high on all of the stuff in that baby oil and everything else, y'all, to be able to make it through you. Or maybe the diddler really chose him because he wanted to make sure there was somebody there that was uglier than him. You know, of all of the things y'all have heard me say to y'all for all of this time, have you ever heard me get into any of these nasty details that you heard pop out through the trial?
Nah.
You ever hear me talk about the size of people's members, the nasty little... I pretty much kept it short, didn't I? I spared y'all exactly how trifling and nasty it really was, did I not? I mean, a grace. And yet I was still very accurate about everything that I said was happening, except there was no other celebrities. There was no other celebrities were there. And this